All right, please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Christy Steiner, 702-387.
Hey, Christy, my name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Mr. Freeman and Mr. Roche will be your panel. I'll explain the process to you. Read some information to the record, ask you some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
And I see you have some guests here. Mike Finch will be speaking, Caitlin Epperson, Corey Epperson, Michael Barrow. Okay? Those folks that are here, Mr. Finch will be speaking at the appropriate time. Christy Steiner, DOC number 702-387. You're a second class offender. Full eligibility date 6/15/2022, not eligible for good time, full term 5/1/2024, 2 years, 6 months sentence. Habitual offender, possession of hydrocodone, possession of buprenorphine. Does that sound correct?
Yes, yes, sir, it does.
Hi, Christy, how old are you?
47.
And how long have you been in jail?
I've been here for almost 7.5 months.
7.5 months. And do you have a GED or high school diploma?
I have a bachelor's degree.
You have a bachelor's degree, so okay, so you're gonna have to, the bachelor's in what?
Bachelor of Science in Math.
So what kind of job did you have?
I was a former math teacher, high school math teacher.
Okay. How long did you teach math?
I taught in St. Tammany Parish for 9 years before I went on disability retirement in 2012.
Where did you teach in St. Tammany?
North Shore High School.
And what happened to put you on disability?
I got West Nile virus and I had 2 strokes when I was 36.
What virus?
West Nile.
You got 2 strokes. Do you have any effects from those strokes?
I still do have some cognitive impairments. That's why the continued disability. I have some short-term memory impairments.
No physical impairments?
No, no physical impairments.
You do have some cognitive. Were you have any treatment while you're out? Going to speech therapy, cognitive therapy, anything like that?
I was just seeing a neurologist monthly.
Just seeing your neurologist. But you weren't. Were you taking anything for that, or you weren't doing anything for it? You said, "Hey, you have cognitive deficits. Good luck." They didn't try to get you any treatment.
They said that the brain is very unpredictable and the healing process is very unpredictable, and that it would get better over time, and it has. It's gotten a lot better.
All right. So now explain to me why you're in there. You got your back. You got all kinds of stuff going for you, and you were disabled. I get it. So tell me why you're there.
After I became disabled, I lost everything. I lost my house, my kids, my job, my marriage, all of it. It was all gone. And I stopped caring.
And you lost it. Just how'd you lose your kids because of the stroke?
My ex-husband took me to court and said that I could not take care of myself. Therefore,
So y'all split up. Y'all were together at the time, and then y'all split up.
I was married for the second time. This was my first husband that took me to court and took the kids. His argument was that I couldn't take care of myself, so I couldn't possibly take care of the children, and he took them.
And you were married, second marriage at the time.
Yes, and that ended also.
And so you started doing what?
I found myself hanging out with the wrong people and living the wrong life. I got caught up.
How old are your children?
My children are 24 and 20 now.
At the time, how old were they?
When all that happened, they were 13 and 10.
But you just got arrested here recently, and
Yes, sir.
that's been, and your kids are 24. You have any relationship with your children?
Yes, I do. We have a very close relationship.
So explain to me, I see, I hear what you're saying, okay, this is a long term, it's been years. So you've been using drugs for that long that you've been
Yes, sir.
disabled?
No, sir. I started using drugs about 5 years ago.
And so when y'all first split up and you first lost the kids, you weren't using, but then you started using.
Yes, sir.
So what's your plans if you're to be released early? Where are you gonna go? What you gonna do?
I plan to live with my mother, Michelle, and I plan to take care of my elderly father daily. He is legally blind and he's got some signs of dementia, so he needs somebody there with him. So that's my plan. I have a home-based business as well. I make crystal jewelry and gifts, and I sell them online on Etsy.
So what were you doing during this 10-year period then? I mean, you weren't working at school? Were you selling jewelry? What were you doing? Obviously, you got involved with drugs. We
Right.
understand that 5 years ago, but there's still a 5-year gap there. What were you doing? You said you lost everything. Were you living with somebody? Where were you living?
I was moving around from apartment to apartment. I was by myself. I was working part-time jobs here and there just to make ends meet. But I was still on disability retirement, so I still got a paycheck every month.
Right. Were you seeing your children at the time?
For about 2 years, I didn't see them at all, but we got back in touch and have a close relationship now.
Where were they living? In St. Tammany as well?
Yes, sir. We got back in touch in 2017.
So what have you done for your drug problem? What kind of treatment have you gone through? What kind of, have you been with some long-term substance abuse? What have you done?
I've been sober for almost a year now. I plan to maintain my sobriety. I'm very serious about it. I've been in a living in balance class here. It's actually first session ends next week. And I plan to do outpatient rehab once I leave here, as well as NA meetings and AA meetings.
So is that the only class you've taken, living in balance? Anything else?
No, sir, that's all.
Do you have any mental health issues?
I do. I have
What diagnosis is that?
bipolar disorder and depression and anxiety.
Are you taking meds for it?
Yes.
How long you been on meds?
About 15 years.
Okay. Whenever you started using drugs, did you stop using your mental health?
I stopped taking my meds and slid right off the page and lost control of myself and my actions, and I can't get off my meds. I know that now.
It's a fact.
I'm sorry.
I said that's a fact.
Yes, it is.
Can't get off those meds.
No, sir, I can't.
Staff, you have any input for us there?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, you have no good time date because you are a habitual offender. Let's see. Uh-huh. All right, now we hear from Mr. Mike Finch. Go ahead and make a statement, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of this lady that I've known for 35 years, since literally before high school. We grew up 3 streets over, and I know her to be not only a loving, caring parent, but I personally witnessed what happened when she had her stroke and literally became debilitated before mine and everyone else's eyes. there's just no other way to say it. It was like a switch. And as she said, she fell into uh, the wrong crowd and drugs. And, you know, I hate to see where she's at, but I know that there is a good person there. And, you know, as you know, I heard the surprise in your voice when she told you she had a bachelor's of science and mathematics. She's one of the smartest people I know. And, you know, through no fault of her own, she has become this debilitated person. And I think if given a chance to go back out into society, that she would be the very definition against recidivism. And she will try to build her life back. She's a loving, caring parent. And I live in Arizona now, and I wouldn't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to speak for anyone if I didn't think that she deserved a chance. So thank you for letting me speak, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Chris, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I
Go ahead.
understand that we're here today because of mistakes and poor choices that I have made in the past. But I have used this time during my incarceration to self-reflect and set goals for myself. To give my life purpose and direction. I want to be an example to others that positive change is possible and well worth the effort. I pray that you will consider giving me a second chance to devote myself to a positive, purpose-driven life. Thank you.
All right, have you had any disciplinary write-ups while you've been there?
No, sir.
All right, then I'm prepared to vote. I'll vote first. Yeah, Christy, you know, you definitely put yourself in a bind there, right? I mean, you're a smart girl like yourself, you know, you're right. It is surprising you have a bachelor's. We don't see a lot of folks with bachelors that are in jail. I mean, you know, normally that's a sign that kind of keeps people out of trouble. I understand. I'm in the medical field. I understand about strokes. I understand about West Nile. I understand a lot about cognitive issues of the brain. So so I'm sure that is difficult. Obviously, you turned the wrong way, and you got in some trouble. You got some bad trouble. Did some bad stuff. Problem that I have is that I need you to take some long-term substance abuse. I'm not prepared to let you go today unless my vote would be to send you to a long-term substance abuse program. I don't know what your feelings are about that, and I don't mean do it on the street. I mean, we have some great programs in the DOC. You go to substance abuse, you complete the 9-month program, you do well with it. You're a smart girl. You ought to figure it out, and then you'll be released. Are you willing to do that? Is that something you want to do?
Yes, sir, I will do it. I would obviously prefer to do it on the outside as an outpatient rehab.
Well, right, but I mean, you are on the outside there, and you weren't able to stay clean. I mean, my job is to make sure that you stay out of jail, not just get you out of jail real fast. And if you're not going to be committed to it, then we'll just keep going. You just spend your time. It's left up. Okay, well, my vote today would be to grant your parole to a long-term substance abuse program, Steve Hall Intensive Substance Abuse Program, 9-month program. After successful completion of that, I want you to follow up with the recommendations. I want you to attend the NAAA 3 times a week. I want you to report to your parole officer weekly for the first 30 days. And what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to do 4 hours a month of community service.
Yes, sir.
Smart girl. Maybe that's going to a church and helping somebody with math. Maybe that's using your skills to help young folks. I mean, look, math's always a problem, whatever, but I'd like to see you do that. So I'm just one vote. That's just my vote today. But again, if you take advantage of this program, it's going to do you a world of good. You need to stay on your mental health meds because you know what you need to do. But That's my vote, one vote. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Brochet?
Ms. Steiner, I think Mr. Kelsey had a good plan. You need some long-term substance abuse. You can use your math talents to help high school students who have trouble with algebra and other calculus, whatever it is. But you had something to give back. But first of all, you got to take care of yourself. And that means get some long-term substance use treatment. So when you are released, you will remain sober and maintain your sobriety.
Yes, sir.
Follow all of the recommendations of that substance use program, and get yourself a good sponsor, attend the AA meetings, and my vote is the same, under the same conditions as Mr. Kelsey. Good luck.
Mr. Freeman? Okay, where did you say you were gonna live? What parish?
With my mother,
What parish?
St. Tammany Parish.
Pam. Okay, I also vote to grant with the same conditions, and I also would recommend that you visit the Covington Day Reporting Center, because they could set up everything that these conditions that are on you, they can set it up for you, and they could help find you a job also.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation, but I also vote to grant.
All right, you have 3 votes to grant your parole to long-term substance use program, Steve Hall, intensive substance use program, 9 months. You'll attend NAA weekly for 3 weeks, 3 times a week after that, report to your PO weekly for the first 30 days, and report to the Compton Day Center, and you have 4 hours of community service. You understand the stipulation?
I do. Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you. And it is 9:29, and we'll adjourn LT 29, and we'll adjourn LTCW. Thank you.
Good luck, Ms. Steiner.
Okay, so we'll jump into some of the information that we have here through Richard on her initial appeal. But to sum it up, she was initially busted in a car and charged with possession of a firearm and many other charges, and given, I think it was a 6-year sentence, but the judge said, don't worry, we'll suspend the sentence and put you on probation. And she appealed that, even though the judge, frankly, in my opinion, gave her a golden ticket. She still appealed that, and the appeal was denied, and she failed her suspended sentence, and that's what ended up got her in prison today. And even then, after just serving 6-7 months, she now has a chance to go to Steve Hoyle. I am happy to say that we haven't seen her back. So as far as we know, she's doing well, and good for her. This hearing took place June 2022. So I think she would have had time to graduate to Steve Hoyle and be in the streets for maybe, 6 months or so. Addiction is hard. It seems that she was dealt some bad cards, if you want to take for face value everything that she said, getting a virus and then 2 strokes at her young age. Although we have also seen that you got to take certain things from certain people with a grain of salt. You don't always know what the pure, if you want to be skeptical, you can say, well, I don't know, is how she's saying it, or is it, or is she making excuses? But that's up to you, however you want to come up to that conclusion. But it is still to be, imagine, you go everything straight and narrow, you go through, you're a teacher, you're a high school math teacher, and things turn sideways, and real quick, you find yourself in prison, and it can happen. You can say it can happen to anyone. It moves real fast. So here's what it is. The defendant was charged with possession of a firearm. Count 1, while in possession of controlled substance, count 3 and count 4. So there's a lot of counts. She pled not guilty in all counts. She went to a jury trial. She was found not guilty on just count 1 and count 3. Okay, so the possession of a firearm, she was found not guilty, and count 3 of Schedule 3, she was found not guilty, but she was found guilty in count 4 and 7. She moved for a new trial for post-verdict judgment of acquittal, but the motions were denied. On count 4, she was sentenced to 5 years. On count 7, she was sentenced to 2 years. But they ordered for them to run concurrently, so it would be a total of 5 years. But the judge suspended both sentences, right? Again, she was given every chance. This is after a trial. This wasn't a plea deal. Like, you often see when a trial happens, if you're going to put the state through a trial, you're going to make us put a jury up here. You're going to make us go to court. You're going to make, then we're going to throw the book at you. But the judge still suspended her sentence. And then she blew it, which is, it is what it is. I mean, I don't disagree with the judge. Like, I would have felt bad for her too, and probably said, let me give you a chance. Let me, you nonviolent crime. Let's put this very real sentence over your head and go do what you're going to do. But she blew it. And now they're giving her kind of another chance after she tasted what prison tastes like. And I'm rooting for her. On November 24, 2019, Office Deputy Boris, investigator, reported people sleeping in a vehicle in front of a Shell gas station. That's not rock bottom, but that's close to it, right? Actually, I should say that's not even close, right? You can be in much, if you still have a truck, it's close to it. Okay. Deputy Medved observed the pickup truck with the defendant asleep in the driver's seat and a male subject asleep in the passenger seat. Deputy Medved saw a glass smoking pipe in the vehicle. A subsequent search of the vehicle revealed the presence of methamphetamine, buprenorphine, a loaded firearm, syringes, additional smoking pipes, Ziploc bags, and rolling papers. It makes you wonder, but I guess you get so wound up that you just forget. You forget where to hide your stuff. You forget like how you're just one police officer away from losing everything. The defendant testified at trial that she identified Stephen Michael Rodriguez as the passenger in the truck and testified that they stopped at the gas station to sleep because they were exhausted from moving. She denied any knowledge prior to her arrest the presence of a weapon in the truck. Additionally, she claimed she only learned of the methamphetamine and buprenorphine in the car after viewing the police report. Discussion. So the defendant contends the evidence was insufficient to support the conviction in assignment of error 2. She contends the trial court in denying the motion for trial. In assignment of error 3, she contends that the trial court erred in denying the motion of post-verdict judgment of acquittal. She argues these assignments of error, claiming that the evidence offered at trial failed to prove essential element of intent, guilty knowledge, and therefore was inadequate to support finding that she was in constructive possession of drugs at issue. And this is interesting for anyone who is curious, right? You're in someone else's truck. It probably wasn't her gun. It probably wasn't even her narcotics. I mean, it could have been, right? But she was still found guilty for all those things in a jury trial. And if you're ever curious, right? Police will often charge everyone if no one takes account for it. And, some of the stuff could have been her. It could have been shared, but at the same time, maybe, maybe it was all his and he was just like, using with her, right? I don't know how that works, but how do you prove that it's actually hers? Anyways, both direct circumstantial for reasonable doubt. We most expressly mindful using a circumstantial evidence test, assuming every fact to be proved in the evidence test to prove an over verdict. Reasonable hypothesis of innocence is excluded. The reviewing court is required to evaluate circumstantial evidence in the light most favorable to the prosecution and determine if any alternative hypothesis is sufficiently reasonable that a rational juror could not have found proof of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. When a case involves circumstantial evidence that the fact reasonable rejects the hypothesis of innocence presented in the defense, the hypothesis falls and the defendant is guilty unless there is another hypothesis that raises reasonable doubt. As applicable here, is unlawful for any person or knowingly or intentionally to possess controlled dangerous substance classified as Schedule 2 or 3. Methamphetamine is controlled dangerous substance classified as Schedule 2, Schedule 3. On the issue of whether the evidence sufficiently proved possession, the state is not required to show possession of narcotics by the defendant in order to convict. Okay, that's interesting. They don't actually need to show possession in order to convict. Constructive possession is sufficient. A person is considered to be in constructive possession of a controlled dangerous substance if it is subject to his dominion and control, regardless of whether or not it is in his physical possession. Also, a person may be in joint possession. Here it is, joint possession of a drug if he willfully, knowingly shares with another right to control the drug. So there you have it. Everyone should understand the written word of the law before I suppose breaking that law. However, the mere presence in the area where narcotics are discovered or a mere association with the person who does control the drug in the area is located is insufficient to support. So basically, they just need to prove that he was sharing it with her, and it's probably not so hard for a jury to believe that. A determination of whether or there is possession sufficient to convict depends peculiar facts of each case. Factors to be considered to determine whether a defendant exercises dominion and control sufficient to constitute possession include his knowledge of the drug area, where his relationship with the person found to be actual possession, access to the area of the drugs. Let's see what they say. There's some interesting things here. Based on Deputy Medved's 8 years of law enforcement experience, including 400 to 500 narcotic arrests, he testified that a glass pipe of the sort is generally used to smoke Pepsi or meth. Can you imagine? It's like you get your BA, you become a math teacher, you go in every day. And I mean, I think anyone who is a teacher, I would say, maybe even say, especially today's day and age, you have to be special. You have to be a saint, or you have to be crazy, or it will drive you crazy. I don't know how anyone does it. And because of that, I really do want to give her all the credit she deserves, because, man, I would get driven to, not to mention the norovirus, a virus and 2 strokes, right? They basically go through all the reasons of why her appeal would be denied, and her convictions were confirmed. It is pretty interesting that she appealed. It's almost like when you appeal a sentence like this. Now, unless it was she appealed because she just didn't want to have a felony on her record, and this was her first felony, I guess everyone would appeal. But I mean, she obviously I don't know. I hope we don't see her again. That's pretty much it. What do you think? Hopefully this was her rock bottom. With that, I'll let you go.